Hello YouTube, it's Si here from Si Moto Photo. Welcome back to the channel. Look what we've got our hands on, a BMW R1300 GS. As a 1250 GS adventure owner, I'm really keen to figure out what this new bike's all about. Is this a contender for my next bike? Well, let's go and we'll swing a leg over it, we'll take it for a ride, we'll put it through its paces and we'll figure out what it's all about. So come on, let's go for it. Right troops, welcome on board the GS 1300, and this lovely one is in the triple black colour scheme, and it's got a few little bits and pieces on it as well, which I'll take you through when I give you a walk round of the bike. But just before I go on and do this review, I just want to put a massive shout out to the guys at John Clark BMW. Ryan in there, bless him, he was really busy today when I went to get the bike, and he looked after me, sorted me out with the bike, and you know, gave me a rundown of what's on this bike before I took it out. But you know, if anybody's looking to get themselves into a BMW, one of these new GS's or the new adventure model or any other BMW for that matter, the team over there at John Clark, we've got a branch in Dundee and a branch at Aberdeen. I've dealt with them myself in the past. I bought a BMW S1000 RR off them, and I have to tell you, the guys are absolutely brilliant. So if anybody's looking for help, get in touch with John Clark. I'll leave the details in the description at the bottom. And just so you know, this video isn't a promotion, or I'm not getting paid from them or anything like that. I just dealt with them myself in the past. I loved dealing with them, and the guys have looked after me, supplying me with this bike to review. However, back to this bike, and I just want to give you my first impressions. As you know, many of you watch the channel, you know I've got a GS 1250 Adventure TE model. It's a rally, and I bought it brand new in 2021. And do you know what? I'd actually struggle to sell it now. I think it's just become part of me almost. I really enjoy the way it rides, and enjoy the protection it offers up front, with it being the bigger tank and your bigger frontal area on the bike. So I've been quite reluctant to throw my leg over these new GS's because I'm scared I want to buy it, and it's just, and I know that the GS 1250 that I've got does everything that I need it to do, but I have to tell you, right, as per normal, I've been riding this bike for a wee bit before I turn the camera on and turn the mic on and give you my sort of first impression of it. But immediately when I sat on the bike, it feels the seat's a little bit firmer than what I'm used to with the GS 1250 Adventure, right? But I've been on it a while now, and it's actually really comfortable. It's just a little bit firmer to feel now. I don't know if there's a sort of a softer version that you could put on this, or if this is this is the standard version. I'll try and put it up on the screen when I go back, and I'll find out exactly what seat it is that's on it. But the other thing that strikes you when you get on it first thing is how good the quick shifter is. Now I've seen lots of different reviews so far, and people are telling you that, oh, it's okay, it's not that. I'm telling you for a fact right now, right, the quick shifter on this bike is different class compared to my bike. It's so different. It's like, even from low down in the rev range, when I'm clicking up the gears and clicking down the gears, it's a very positive change, but it's very smooth. And on my GS 1250 Adventure, from first to second, forget it, honestly, just forget it. But this one, you can use it from first to second, no problem. There's me changing down the gears, great. And my old bike, to be fair, was actually not bad at changing down the gears, but this takes it to a new level. It definitely does. It's different class. I don't know what tyres we're on, right? I suspect it's Michelin Anarchy Adventure tyres, right? I've not actually checked. I'll check when I got off the bike, but they're noisy. The tyres are noisy, and I remember that when I got my Adventure. It's not as noisy as the Adventure when I was on the Adventure. I couldn't believe the noise off the tyres, the Anarchy Adventures, when I got the Adventure model, and when I changed them to Pilot Road 6, it was night and day difference. But I can definitely hear a bit of tyre noise coming up. Handling is something that I could never really fault my GS for. I always felt it kind of punched above its weight when it came to handling, and a lot of that's to do with the you know, where that engine's situated in the bike, whether it be in the Boxer Twin. It's sitting really low down in the bike, and it just makes it so flickable and so easy to manoeuvre. Yeah, it's a big lump of a bike, it's heavy, the Adventure that I've got. This is quite a bit lighter than mine, but it's a lot more positive. It feels more positive to turn. It holds its line better. It feels more positive when it's on its side. And it's hard to explain that. It's one of those things you need to experience yourself, but it definitely feels more positive. You sit higher up in the bike, but the riding position, I don't know if it feels as if the bars are closer to you, and that to me just feels a little bit more comfortable. The frontal area on this screen is really doing a great job of chucking the wind over me as well. I've put the screen to the high position, but I'm feeling as if I'm getting as much protection with this as I do with my Adventure. It's really nice. Now we're talking about the engine in this bike, right? There's not a big difference in power. You're up 8-9 horsepower. I'll go over those when I do the sort of walk round with the bike. But the bike definitely feels more urgent. The acceleration on it's a little bit more urgent. It's not quite as lazy as the old engine. It just feels a little bit, almost as if it's had a facelift. It just feels a little bit younger, a little bit more urgent, a little bit more agile. In fact, I think that's probably the word of the day. The whole bike just feels a little bit more agile. It just feels as if it's went and been to the gym, and it's had, you know, not a big sort of not banging the weights. It's been going to the gym and it's been doing a bit of cardio, and it's been getting itself in shape a little bit like myself. Not you know, and it shows. It's been eating clean, and it's just, it feels good for it. It's super punchy, but it was always super punchy, but it just feels, the engine almost feels as if it's running faster. It's revving freer, as if there's less weight in there, more urgent with the acceleration. The brakes are absolutely fantastic on it as well. Right, so this is a standard model, right? The difference between this and the Adventure model is the tank size. The tank's 19 litres on this. It's down a litre from the previous version. And if you look at the front, we've got this controversial headlight in the front with the X. I've not ridden it at night, so I can't really let you know what it's like in the dark, but I don't think it looks that bad. I think it actually looks okay. It looks nice. You've got a completely different beak at the front end of it. It's totally revised, the styling at the front. I know a lot of people are sort of sitting on the fence with the styling of it, but I actually think it's grown in me big time. When it first came out, I was like, but I tell you what, it's really grown in me, this bike now. I think it looks the part big time. They've changed the finish on the engine. Now, my GS 1250 Adventure has got some, it looks like some corrosion coming through in the engine, and this is a completely different texture I see. This is obviously to stop that from happening, which is, you know, a big plus, because I keep my bike in sort of dry storage. It's not abused in any way, shape or form, and it's coming through with some corrosion on the engine, so that's really good to see that they're doing that. You've got engine bars that come out, but they've got a little bit of added protection. They seem to sort of sit away from the engine quite a bit, whereas I think the old bars, they almost formed around the engine, and I think a lot of people, when they dropped the bike, it would knock it in and give the engine a little bit of a dunt, meaning you'd need to replace end caps and stuff. So I've not only changed the finish of the engine, right, they're actually putting some more power out in it as well. You're up to 145 horsepower with that engine now, and you're 149 newton meters of torque, and you know, it's not a huge increase in power, but definitely when I've been out on the road, I can feel how free revving the engine is compared to the last version. It just feels that little bit more athletic. And you've got this gorgeous little Akrapovic pipe on this. I don't know how much noisier that is to the standard exhaust, but it certainly sounds lovely when you're on it. Your seat Your seat height's 850mm, and you've got different varies or different heights that you can get the seat in. So you can get sort of quite a bit of scope in the height to fit most riders. This for me today, I've got a 32-inch inside leg. It's a little bit. It's very similar to my Adventure actually. I'm on tiptoes both sides, just not full tiptoes, but my heels are raised off the ground on both sides. You've got your spoked wheels on this. Yeah, you know, I prefer the gold wheels. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but the black wheels look really good on this with the black pack. Looks fantastic, and you see the difference in the frame here. You know, no longer have you got that spar frame, but you've got a proper sort of, you know, it's solid at the back end here. And you know, one of my gripes with the old GS Adventure was it's a blimmin' pain to clean. Every time you go to clean it, you end up slashing your hands to bits. I just think this is a cleaner look. It's going to be easier to maintain in terms of cleaning the bike and keeping the bike looking good. It's just less nadgery bits that you need to get in with sponges and try and clean, and to live with. I think that'll be easier. You've got your electric screen on this, and you've got, you know, all sorts of different little additional menus that are built in to help you navigate between the screen, the heated bars, the heated seats, all that kind of stuff. And you use that little single button, which I point out when I'm out on a ride. But it's not difficult to use at all, actually. Once you get your head around it and you get a bit of sort of muscle memory with how you operate it, it'll be absolutely fine. I love this material that they're using in the centre of the tank. It just stops the tank from getting damaged. They're thinking of, you know, usability. When you're out and you're running about in the bike and you're using it every day and you're strapping stuff to it, it's just going to keep the bike from getting all damaged. And well-loved bikes, you know, that can only help. The TFT screen on the bike's unchanged. It's the same menu that was on the old one, and it's probably the best one in the market. It looks absolutely fantastic to the eye, and it's super easy to use as well. Now, I said in the road test, I kind of knew it, right? But we've got a 19-inch front wheel and we've got a 17-inch back wheel, and it's running Michelin Anarchy tyres. Great tyres, by the way, grip like mad, but noisy. Pilot Road 6s were the first upgrade I done on the GS Adventure. What a difference they made in terms of quieting the bike down. But as I say, the Anarchies, they do grip the road really well in dry and wet, in my opinion. You've got shaft drive in the bike, and if you've never had a shaft drive, you don't know what you're missing. It's just low maintenance, easy peasy. It's just, shaft drive's great, and I don't know how it affects the power delivery actually, but it certainly doesn't feel any different to me from a bike with a chain. So I don't see there being any downsides to having a shaft drive. But the shaft drive for me is a really, really cracking feature on a motorcycle, especially if you're not into maintenance like me. An aesthetics point of view, it's just overall a really, really nice bike, and it's gorgeous to ride. You sit a little bit higher up on this bike than you do on the older one, right? You're sitting more in the bike in the older one, but I don't think it's worse. I don't think it's any worse, or it makes it any worse to ride. It's just a wee bit different. It's really, really nice to ride. I can't go over how nice it is in terms of, you know, the quick shifter and the difference in the power delivery, because at the end of the day it's a Boxer 1300 Boxer engine, right? How different can it be from the old one? But it is different. It just feels different. It feels energised, and I love the fact, right, that the engine is symmetrical now, rather than having one cylinder closer to your shin than the other one. I just found that quite odd. It looks great that they're both the same. That's just my OCD, honestly. I'm going to reserve judgment, right, till I've ridden the Adventure, and keep your eyes on the channel, because the Adventure will be coming soon, right? But I'm going to reserve judgment. But I'll tell you what, this is a big contender for my bike, for swapping for my bike. I'm really, really enjoying this, and I just want to say thanks to everybody that's subscribed to the channel. I really appreciate it, and I know that we're taking a little bit of a different direction from when the channel was first started. You know, some of you guys out there, you Harden Triumph guys might be cursing me taking a BMW out for a ride, but listen, bear with me. We're hoping to add more stuff to the channel, more content to the channel. Now that I've got the flexibility to be able to go and deal with other bike shops and other manufacturers, then you know, stick with me. Hopefully you're in for the long term, and hopefully you enjoy the content. And if you do enjoy the content and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. And for everyone that's bought me a coffee using the link in the description, thanks so much. It means the world. It's very, very humbling, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I've come to love the telelever front end that's on the GS, right? Yeah, it can be criticised for being a little bit vague. If you're really going for it, right, you're really hammering it. But let's be honest, right, the GS is not that type of bike, right? It's a bike it's a super versatile, do anything bike, go anywhere bike, right? And the telelever just sorts it out. It just, if you've got a passenger on the back, they're not bashing helmets with you. You know, when you touch the brakes, the bike just stays level, stays planted, and it just is really, really nice, really, really enjoyable to ride. So I'm really glad that the telelever is here to stay, and if anything, it's improved. The suspension, right, what I would say with the GS Adventure, right, is I've got different riding modes. Now when I put my bike in road mode, it's awful bouncy. It's like I've criticised the back suspension on my bike because it just seems to be bouncy, 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 bouncy. If you put it in dynamic, right, for me it just makes it kind of normal. It just puts it in a kind of normal normal mode. And to be honest, I never ever take mine out of dynamic. It's always in dynamic, because any other mode, it just undersells a bike in my opinion. But this bike today, I've had it in road when I left the dealership. It felt lovely in road, and I put it in dynamic, and you could feel the difference with it in dynamic. But actually, road mode was the mode that I prefer using, and I'm going to change it now back into road, because it was lovely, and the bike actually feels really, really nice for it when you're riding it in road. So there's a definite difference in the suspension quality of this bike versus the old one. As soon as I put that into road, it just feels more. It irons out the imperfections in the road better. And I'd imagine if you're on a long journey, that's just going to make life just that little bit more comfortable when you're on the road. It's a really, really nice riding mode when it's in road, and I can't say that for my bike. My bike when it's in road is just a bouncy, bouncy, bouncy bike. So great improvement. Suspension, tick. Right, so let's do a roll-on test. Right, we're in third gear, we're at 27 miles per hour. Roll on. Oh my god, it's just so urgent. You know, that's the reason why I love the Boxer. It's, you know, from third gear, low down in the rev range, open the throttle, boff, away it goes. And it's like that in most gears. Fourth gear as well. If you come to a bit of a hill and you twist the throttle, you're in third or fourth gear, you still get grunting up the hill. I really enjoy that about the Boxer engine. It's you know, I was a sport bike guy before I get involved with the GS, and you know, the GS engine for me is it ticks all the boxes for me, right? Yeah, it probably doesn't sound as nice as the Triumph, you know, the T-Plane triple engines. That to me sounds out of this world, right? But from a riding point of view, from a do anything point of view, it's such a lovely engine to ride, the big Boxer. It's super smooth, it's super torquey, and now, you know, several generations later, they've now got it to a point where it actually delivers good performance at the top end as well. It's a phenomenal engine, the Boxer Twin, and I for one really, really love it. First to second gear, you hear that? Watch this, right? Watch this, right? First to second gear with a quick shifter. This is impossible, right, to do with the old GS. First gear, second gear, how amazing! So smooth. I really like this. I've read some reviews about them talking about these buttons, right? Okay, it's no big deal really. You press that button, and then you get into what one you want to use. It's like one extra button. It's no big deal, honestly. I mean, even though this is a completely revised, different bike, right? Totally modernised, totally sharpened up, it still feels familiar. Oddly. I don't know if it's the engine or the noise, but it just, there's almost like a familiarity to it. Like putting on an old pair of slippers. You just feel at home right away on the bike. Which is, and that's incredible when you think how different it is to my bike. That's a real testament to BMW that they've kept that, you know, that je ne sais quoi. That's something that makes a GS, right? Yet they've completely modernised it. That cannot be easy. That cannot be an easy task. Well done, BMW. Absolutely well done. You've knocked it out of the park with this bike. You really have. Well, if you've made it this far, thanks very much for hanging about. BMW R1300 GS. What a fantastic bike, honestly. What a great bike to ride. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Would you go for the black, or would you go for the rally, or would you go for the green or the white? What colour would you go for? Let me know in the comments. Have you got one? What do you think of it yourself? Are you glad you made the change for the R1300? I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the Adventure, I have to be honest. The Adventure's, I believe I'll get my hands on one very soon and be able to take it out and get a road test. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, give the video a like and let me know your thoughts on this one. But thanks a lot for tuning in to Sci Moto Photo. I hope you enjoyed the video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take it easy.